show. We're on the air now. It's Rangers Radio, taking calls from the Bears. Hello, hello, it's Rangers Radio. Hello, hello, this is the phone-in show. We're on the air at 9 o'clock on every weekday night, taking calls about the Jazz.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the panel tonight is the one and only Bridgeman and my Latin teacher, Cushy Number. How we doing, gentlemen?
Cushy Number. Oh, can I just say a good evening to the big boys and the boys in the panel here. Huge good evening to the boys in the lobby and a massive good evening to all the Rangers fans all over the world. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Did you get my message, Cushy, in the lobby?
I did, yes. I just totally ignored it.
Oh, well, fair enough. Anyway, Bridge, we've not spoke for 48 hours, roughly. Nothing happened really in Scottish football, eh?
Oh, God almighty. God almighty, you know. You think of it, I mean, really and truly, I hate to say it like this, guys, but it sounds as if the shit's really hit the fan. There's people in our game have went, clubs in our game as well, they've went apoplectic with what's happening. This, in the last month, roughly a month, there's two managers of two clubs have came out and absolutely slaughtered our player. Absolutely slaughtered them. You know, why is, the Hearts manager come out and he says, how can that guy get away with all this and no get sent off or booked or whatever? And then all of a sudden you get the Celtic out. Unbelievable what they're saying. Unbelievable. For a club, shocking. What a statement they've made.
The trouble with that is, and we'll come to that in a minute, I'm sure, the trouble with that is when you highlight incidents and you start looking at things, there's other things come to the surface as well, because it's a game of football. But Cushy, the big thing for me has been the transfers. At the moment, potential, but it looks as if 4 players are joining us, maybe 2 for next season and 2 for an 18-month loan period.
And it looks like we've had our ducks in a row. Prior to this transfer window, one of the, whether you like the signings or not, I think what's been really obvious from us is that as a club we have targeted certain individuals. And we've went and we've got them, and we're getting these guys tied up as soon as we can. So it's not, the January transfer window, I think, has been typically associated with almost panic buys. If you're struggling to score goals, you go out and buy some striker that's kind of struggling at a club, or you get a defender and you pay over the odds for that person. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Transfer window, and we've got them, we've tied them up quickly. So we've got the potential to tie them up quickly. It's not, none of them are done deals yet, but kudos to the club for doing that. This comes across as it's got a bit of a plan about it, rather than any panic buying.
Sadiq and Ajaria, Davis or Defoe. Who gets you the most points for you, Cushy?
Certainly, I would say Davis and Defoe. Certainly Sadiq has been my biggest disappointment as a signing, I think, and as a biggest disappointment is for Steven Gerrard, no doubt. It doesn't seem as if he's applied himself in training, and he's just simply not figured at all. And I don't think for 1 second that Steven Gerrard is looking at Jermaine Defoe and thinking that that's the type of commitment that he's going to get. I think he knows that he's going to get Defoe and what he's getting. He might be getting slightly on in years. He's no spring chicken for a striker certainly anymore. But the boy can certainly finish. Personally speaking, the SPFL is littered with former EPL players that thought they could come up here and do a job and weren't successful. I'm hoping that's certainly not the case with Jermaine Defoe. and we give the boy plenty of chances, and he just keeps slamming in the goals. But the jury's a little bit out from a personal perspective for me, in terms of whether he's the man for the job. But Gerard's done a fantastic job so far. I certainly trust him in his judgment, and he's played with Jermaine Defoe, so if it's certainly no shot in the dark the way Sadiq was. And in terms of Davis, I think Davis will be the player that our midfielders look to when they are struggling to retain possession, because one of the things that's really annoyed me this season with us is we have tended to give the ball away quite a lot in positions where we could have used the ball a lot better, and I think the Davis will be the player that our other midfielders look to give the ball. And one thing you can say about him is that he will retain possession and he will find a blue jersey. And I think we have been lacking that over the last few months in certain instances.
Same question yourself, Bridge. Sadiq and Algeria, Davis and Defoe. What's the stronger for you?
Oh, the latter pairing. I would imagine that most sensible folk that know anything about football would suggest that those two vast, experienced guys, just amazing thoughts that we're going to bring this class of person, this quality player into our club, even if it is only going to be for a short period of time, a season and a half or something like that. That just may be enough to allow us to, as a club, to sort of stand up completely tall now, straight back, straight legs, and not worry about MD kicking us. We can kick them right back. That just may be the answer. Under no illusions, of course. Rangers have been here before. We've brought in supposedly stars, and some of them have failed miserably for us. So I don't see that happening with Stephen Davis. I think he's a quality player. And Jermaine Defoe, well, you don't need to say too much, do you? He's played at the top level. Everywhere he's went, he's been an absolute star for them. So seriously, guys, I don't. Obviously, as we've said earlier, that this is not 100% yet. It's not booked in, but when it is booked in, and I'm pretty sure it will.
Potential transfer.
Absolutely, yeah. Was it? Did you mention the other ones, Oxja?
Well, obviously, it looks as if rumours on the media that we're sending the boy Kamara and Jones for Kilmarnock in pre-contracts for next season. Yeah.
I saw something tonight. I don't know if Kushi could verify it. I saw something tonight that said that both have been up to the Hummel Training Centre and had their medical already. You know what it's like, you know, you're going to follow and they tell you the world's flat, you know. But seriously, that's what they were saying. That's the latest rumour, is that both of those people have been up to the Hummel Training Centre to get their medical before signing a pre-contract for Rangers.
Mm-hmm. That was also put on Sky Sports today, mate, that you've got to watch the social media. I mean, I read one of the forums that you were a Rangers supporter once. You know what I mean?
What leg was that?
Which is obviously true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Mark Allen, Steven Gerrard had a plan, none of them had to strengthen. They've got to be congratulated if this all falls into place. Whether it works, you don't know. The two players could run into each other in the first training session, but for 6 months, that's football. But they've had a plan, they've done their business. I'm liking what I'm seeing, Cushy.
I think absolutely. You know, I touched on that earlier on. I think the fact that we've let into the transfer window, we've known exactly what we've done or not. You know, it's only the 4th of January. You know, and we've already looking at tying, 4 of these players up. So I think that's, all kudos to the guys for getting this in place and getting it signed. Certainly the Kamara and the Jones rumours have been going about for a while now, and it was no surprise to me when it was mentioned on I think it was ITV today that they were essentially done deals and were going to be announced within the next 24 to 48 hours. So 2 boys that we can take in on Bosman's and not pay a fee. And both of them know the SPL inside out. So I think that's really good business from the club. I think particularly for me with Kamara, from what I've seen of him it's not a huge amount, I have to say. You know, a lot of it's been his YouTube clips, and frankly, I could look good on a YouTube clip, but from what I've seen,
yeah, well, you're stretching that a wee bit there, mate.
But certainly, you know, in terms of when he's played against us, I've been quite impressed with him. You know, and his stats are very good. So I think he'll be a really good signing for us. And to get him, he's very much I think he's a lot like Koulibaly, only maybe slightly better. So I think that would be that'd be all to the good. The Jordan Jones signing, I think, makes sense if Ryan Kent is going back to Liverpool, which would be a bit of a blow because I like Kent. But we've got an awful lot of people in that left wing position now. If you look at Kent and you look at Grezda and you look at Middleton, and now we're talking about Jones, you know, there's a lot of players there that are all vying for a one position. I can only see it making sense for Jones if the likes of Kent goes and we're bringing in some reinforcements in that position. I've not been impressed with Jones as much as I've seen him in relation to what I've seen of Ryan Kent in terms of his backtracking and things like that. Certainly when we've played them, when Tavernier pushes up the park, Jones seems a bit lost in terms of what to do. Because Tav's pushing so far up the park and he doesn't like coming back that far. So I'm a little bit jury's out on the Jones certainly the potential Jones signing. But to get them in Bosnans and to get them quickly, we've obviously got a plan in place, and that's totally good.
All right, Bridge. If people want to join us and give us their thoughts, what's the number, Bridge?
The number's 0141 356 1972.
Or join us at Skype at rangersradio.online, where you were brought in the call by the one and only Old School Blue. I believe we'll get the first caller of the evening. Media star, Mr. George Logan. How are we doing, George?
George, how you doing, pal?
How you doing, boys? You alright?
Alright now, pal.
Good to have a wee show in the night. But the things are high at Rangers and everybody's got a wee buzz about them again, Ox. We're signing the right type of players, the right calibre of players. So it's all good news for me. Like, I think for me, Steve Davis coming in, great signing. Jermaine Defoe coming in, great signing. If that's the kind of calibre of players that Steven Gerrard's trying to get us in to, let's see how you have to say that Ox, they could run in each other on the first day of training. But it's good to have this wee buzz about us again. We're not signing guys for both me English football. We're signing guys who could probably again be most English Premier League teams, and after what happened on the 29th, just to keep the buzz going, and we're getting these kind of guys in. It's all good. It's good to be a Rangers fan again. It's really excellent. I'm buzzing for it all. I really am.
Defoe and Steve Davis, experienced professionals. Can they drive us on to where we want to be, George?
I believe they can, Ox. I really do. I believe they can. I think, by the way, it's out of left field for me. I can't remember spoke about Defoe in the summer and things like that. But for me, Defoe coming in the new and just to give us that wee extra kick, give wee Morelos the kick up the bum, just knowing there's somebody else there. By the way, Defoe can score goals. I don't care what anybody says. Defoe score goals in this league. He's got the talent. He's a good player. Fit as a fiddle, for what I can believe. And Steve Davis, for what I can believe, is buzzing to be back at Rangers as well. So if we can get these two guys out of the line by Monday, get them signed on the dotted line in that Ox, I think it's great business for us. Whether it's Steven Gerrard, Mark Allen, hats off to whoever it is, hats off to these guys, because they're showing the kind of intent that us Rangers fans going week in, week out want to see for our team. They're talking about these two guys coming for the Scottish Premier League as well. Just leave the, like I said earlier on, just leave the two guys. Unless we can do a deal with Kilmarnock or Dundee before then, just leave the two guys to be professional at their own club and come to us next year. I mean, they come to us next year, we'll see how they go on. But if that's the kind of guys we are signing, Ox, we've got a good 6 months ahead. Let's just say that I'm buzzing for the next 6 months. And after what happened in the 29th, Ox, our team can do anything in my eyes.
All right,
George?
We've also been joined by Rudy Bear. Evening, Rudy.
Oh, Rudy! How you doing, pal?
Aye, I'm doing well. Let me wish you all a happy new year. And all
happy New Year, you too, pal. Tell us what you had for your dinner now. Come on.
Mince and tatties, Bridge. Big
Mince
player.
and tatties, you dancer.
Bridge, it's Friday. You know me,
I
it's
know.
not Friday.
I know.
That'll be right. Aye, big plate of mince and tatties.
That's what I
aye.
mean. Mince and tatties, not Friday.
All right.
What did you think I meant, Rudy?
Insinuating something else there.
Not at all.
Oh, Rudy, get in there, Rudy.
Delighted with the signings. So, yeah, you know, if we pull these 4 signings off, I think is there no wee rumour of maybe 2 American boys a wee offer as well, possibly. But certainly, Defoe, I'm really excited about that. I think he'll run a mock-up here. I really do think so. I was listening to a journalist from Sunderland talking about him, how Sunderland were interested in taking him back, you know. There's a wee fair rumour that the Dartsiders were interested in having him as well on loan. So I think it's about a coup for us to get him, really, when all is said and done. Obviously, his connection, I think he played about 60 games. England International, where he played a fair amount of their games, I would imagine, with Steven Gerrard, you know. So there's the Gerrard connection that worked for me, really, as far as Defoe's concerned. Stephen Davis, delighted, absolutely delighted, you know, as I think most Bears are. We spoke about it, it's been quite a heavy rumour for quite a long time now. So if that comes off by Monday, hopefully it's all done and dusted, all the T's crossed, I's dotted, and that's it, done and dusted. We'll get Davis back at the club. I think he's just the kind of midfielder we're looking for right now, so I'm delighted the way things are going.
Stephen Davis, a man, cushy, shown desire, balls even. No taking easy. He's not taking the easy option, is he?
No, definitely not. I'm really pleased with the Davis signing. I think he's the type of player that we need in our midfield. You know, I think a lot of people are still a bit miffed in terms of how a lot of the players left, but I think with the likes of McGregor coming in and Laffy coming in, that, you know, with that ship has sailed a little bit. So I think the Stephen Davis transfer will be a really good signing for our midfield. You know, he's got a wealth of experience. I watched him against Manchester United. Probably maybe just over a month back, and he came on as a substitute against him, and he certainly didn't give me the impression that he was slowing down. He looked really fit. He done, you know, a couple of box to box sprints during the game while he was on, you know, to back up his forwards when they were attacking Man United. And I was, when I seen him, I was actually really impressed with his fitness levels. So I don't have any qualms that he's going to be able to walk into an SPL team and be a really, really good signing for us when it actually transpires. So all to the good for it. I think that's out of the 4 that we've mentioned in terms of Defoe, Davis, Kamara, and Jones. I'm more pleased with the Davis one than anyone, because I think he'll have the biggest impact on our midfield's ability to be able to control games. I know a lot of boys are looking at the Defoe signing, you know, and you know he's the kind of the marquee name associated with the Gerrard effect, if you like, because he's played with him so much. But and certainly I hope that he goes on and scores an absolute barrel load. But I think if Davis is fit, he could be absolutely vital to us in that midfield in terms of just controlling games and seeing games out that we're drawing 1-1 and losing goals in the last 5 minutes and things like that. You know, I think we'll see that a lot less with Stephen Davis in the middle of the park.
All right. Thoughts on that, Bridge? On you come, mate? Bridgie boy.
On the point about the 2 lads possibly going to get on sort of pre-contract, we've mentioned the young lad Jones quite a number of times on this show. A lot of the boys like him, quite like him myself to a certain extent. What I didn't want ever was, if I could ever help it, is to give any Scottish team money. If we can get that boy in on a pre-contract, another guy, I can't remember his name. What's his name again at Oxdear? It's not Maloney, is it? Kamara. So if we can get those 2 chaps in on pre-contracts, then they're rated. These 2 guys are actually rated in Scottish football by the guys on here and further afield as well. So if our manager sees them as an answer to whatever prayers that we've got, are part of the answer, then I'm 100% behind him. but just please don't give them any money. I don't want to be find out that we're going to spend £500,000 on a guy who's only got 6 months left in his contract. We want a full pre-contract for both of those players, and they start at the end of the next season. That will do me absolutely fine. I think most Rangers fans would be absolutely delighted with that, and I would for sure. I would definitely.
Oh, think that maybe with the boy Jordan Jones coming in, if that transpires, do you think that's a sort of addition that we're making, because possibly Kent will be going back at the end of the season? Because, see, in all honesty, if it was up to me, I'd rather have Kent, if truth be told, between the two of them.
But maybe that's not a decision we can make, mate.
Oh, no, I know that. But what I'm saying is just, we're only 4 days into January, so there's loads of time left in this transfer window. I don't think Rangers are finished by any stretch of the imagination if they get these 4 boys out of the line. Kamara, I'm really happy with, don't get me wrong, because I reckon he's a real player, that boy, I really do. So I'm delighted about that, But I don't know, I can't help thinking if it's a choice between the two. I know which one I would rather have, Is there a possibility we could go to Liverpool and say, look, what's the story with this boy? What do you feel about him? Do you really want him back? Can we come to some kind of accommodation? And even if that means another season loan for me. I mean, we're getting Jermaine Defoe, truth be told, on a 1.5 year loan, so possibly we could go and ask them for another year loan for Kent. I think Ryan Kent is going to be a really outstanding young player, and I think he's, in all honesty, I think he's better than Jordan Jones.
The thing about Ryan Kent, this is off the top of my head, Rudy, I think he's played about 100 first-team games, mate, something like that.
Aye. Yeah.
He's been about. What is he, 21, 22?
Aye, still a young guy, but sometimes there comes to a club box and they just fit in, and I feel that with Ryan Kent. I just feel he fits in at Rangers. It looks like he's having a great time. I mean, last weekend there, it was quite possibly my man of the match. Though it would have been hard to pick a man of the match because it was such.
He'd have been up there.
And I think he had a wee bit of dip in form just before his injury that laid him off for nearly 2 months. But for a boy to come back after hardly any football, no football really, in that 2 month period prior to that game, and put in the performance they put in, I just thought he was outstanding that day.
Rudy, I can't disagree with you. Ryan Kent, I have to say, I'm a big fan of his. I've said it all the way along the line. If we could sign him, it would be a boon, absolutely. But I'm no stupid, very realistic, and I don't see us getting Ryan Kent for buttons. So unless we can come up with, I would suggest, I'm only saying this off the top of my head, anywhere between £4 and £5 million, and I don't think Rangers will do that. I don't think they'll do it. They'll maybe get the boy Jones as a backup, but never say never. It'd be wonderful. Ryan Kent has played out his skin the last game he played for us. Absolutely fabulous, and long may his lum reek, and stay at Rangers if he can.
Yeah, well said, Bridge.
All right, George, we said it a few minutes ago, just I think before you come on, but Mr. Gerrard, Mr. Allen and everybody, they seem to have their ducks in a row, mate.
That's all we can ask for, Ox, isn't it? I mean, that's... If this is
you don't know if signings are going to work out, George,
Of course you didn't, but let's let you look through them. You done it a couple of weeks ago, the Rocks went through them, and a couple of them are maybe misses and the rest of them are all hits. So for me, the guys are doing it right. You've got to take your hat off to these guys. These two signings, we can all turn around and say anything can happen the day they sign for Rangers and things like that, but they're two massive signings in my eyes, and that's us, like Bridgman just said, we're now in the 4th of January. We've got 2 January signings in and 2 summer signings in. That's great for me. The thing about Ryan Kent going back down south, I kind of see it. After that, on the 29th, Stephen Gerrard I sat there and said to him, do you want to go and play at Norwich and Ipswich or Leeds or one of these guys, or do you want this every week? That guy was buzzing. So if we can go in there...
So he was, man. He was loving it. So he was
loving it. That's what I'm saying. So if we can go in there and just say, look, what kind of money you want for this guy? How much is it got to be? And let's say it does become a thing, and we put a selling clause on him for Liverpool to get the money. We're not here to make hundreds of money for Rangers. We want to make a better team. Now, if Stephen Gerrard can work out some kind of deal to get Ryan Kent, to make him a Rangers player, I'd be over the moon with that. Jermaine Defoe coming in, go straight in the Rangers team for me, 4-4-2, and Stephen Davis goes straight in the Rangers team for me as well. With those two players, and by jinx, if we improved our team by bringing these two players in, I'm at the moon with it, really. I just think the way our club's getting run now is absolutely fantastic. And Stephen Gerrard saying after the 29th, this one's for Dave King. Dave King told me we've got to beat them, we'll know we've done it. So that's everybody getting a mention, everybody getting their wee bit. Stephen Gerrard turning his back and not even shaking one of their hands is excellent for me. The guy just conducts himself absolutely perfect. If they want to make Sully as Dane latch on or that, he'll remember that and he'll do what he's supposed to do and shake all their hands and do it the right way, and he'll wait and our guys coming off the park and pat them in the back and give it and put a cold shoulder towards the guys. That's what I want our Rangers manager to do, and that's exactly what he's done. Our club's been run absolutely perfect for me, the New Hawks. It really is.
I think we're getting back to where we should be, George. I think the support deserve every bit of success they've got, because it's the support, as Stephen Gerrard keeps mentioning, that's drove his own. Cushy?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think in terms of talking about Gerrard and what he's done for the club, and the way that him and Mark Allen seem to have gelled in terms of the type of player he's looking for. I don't think we could have asked for much more over the last 7 months as a support. We obviously, the fans have been there at Ibrox and have supported the team, but it's. Well, with every football club, it's a bit reciprocal. The players have got to do it in the park, the manager's got to be doing it, and the fans respond to that, and vice versa. And I think we've seen that this over the last 7 months, and that's what's been so pleasing for me. We've had our bumps in the road, as Stephen Gerrard puts it, but at the end of the day, when it's at the end of January, when we've came to we're joint top of the league, obviously unfortunately we're out of Europe, but I don't think anybody particularly feels bad about within the Rangers support feels bad about our European campaign at all. And it's certainly not a stick to beat us about the head with in terms of the fact that we're actually out of Europe. I'm struggling to see any negatives of what's happened to the entire club over the last 7 months. And as George said, the way the club is run, particularly in the footballing side of it at the moment, in terms of getting these transfers identified and getting them in the door, it's been really quite impressive to see, because it's not the first time we've done that, because our transfer window in June I thought was really impressive as well, and to see us continue that to show that it's not a flash in the pan is really pleasing. I think there'll be a few clubs in Scotland that'll be looking to us and thinking, they're getting their act together, they're doing a lot of stuff right, and if we can keep doing that, then the only way's up.
Just a wee quick one, Ox. See, it's
Aye, George, anytime you like.
He's going to be done something that was really ridiculous, Ox, is we brought in a manager and then said, this is the manager, and now we're going to bring in a director of football. That was a ridiculous thing to do. See, just about that time, I can remember everybody on this show, and we're turning around and saying, "By look at how it hurts. They're getting their act together. They've got a manager in. They're doing it the right way. We're doing it right now." We all said to a man, see, we brought in that Pedro guy, and then 6 weeks later we brought in a director of football. That was never going to work. It should have been the opposite way about. But Ken, what's happened there? We had the guys, directors of football, directors of the club, trying to be football guys. Just let them work with the money guys and things like that. Now we've got guys running the club that's football managers. We've got guys that are running this coaching thing that are football guys, and the guys that are doing the money are the directors. We're starting to get our feet in order, and like I think it's true, Paul, it keeps on saying we need to start getting our feet under the big tables, and it's going to come now, because it's one step at a time, and we're starting to get there. Now you can actually start to see the levels and the steps we're actually taking, and it's all good at Rangers, touching wood, it's all good at Rangers and the Hawks.
Here, I mean, don't get me started on Pedro, George. You know my views on that.
Exactly, Ox. But it's one of these things, Ox. We've went through it and we've learned from it. And we all said to a man, I can't believe it. Dave King and Paul Murray and that are bringing in a director of football after a manager. It's never going to work. And thank goodness it never worked, because everyone is to man. If you've got to Google the Rangers manager's name, Ox, it's never going to work.
Just on a side, when you said that, how lucky were we last December to dodge Derek McInnes?
Lucky indeed, mate. Very lucky.
That's a very controversial statement to make, Oxshire.
Never interested him in the first place, so Ox, I really wasn't. Really didn't think he was good for us. I didn't think he was the kind of manager we were looking for at the time. And I think all you have to do is look at some of his signings. I think, some of the signings would have probably ended up at us. Had I ended up as Rangers manager. No, I mean, give me Stevie Gerrard all day long, I'm afraid.
Here, Rudy. I think
I definitely got that one wrong, because I can't deny it. I was 100%. I was calling him daily, mate, and everything. I had his phone number and everything. I was texting him all the week. Honestly, I thought he was going to be the next, honestly, the best thing for Rangers. But to be fair, and by the way, see at the start of the season too, everybody had the buzz about Steven Gerrard, and I said, is this the right person? Are we taking another chance here? Is this another one of these guys that's maybe want a name in football and he's come to Rangers? I got it wrong. Within 6 weeks of it happening, I said, I've done the right thing here. But hats off to everybody, because I've been proved wrong. Thank fuck I've been proved wrong, sorry.
Oops, I never heard that, George.
It's a real pleasure to have our manager. He's top notch. He's the way he handles himself round about the sort of the dugout area. The troops are very impressed. The guys I sit alongside, and I'm sure everybody else that goes there, are very impressed with him. It is really, really good. He went through a wee sticky spell when his substitutions looked questionable, or his timing when he put them on looked questionable. And I'm sure, being a young man, he'll learn from all of that. He is quality, absolute quality. And I tell you what, I wouldn't want that one across the other side of the city running my team. Oh, for sure. No way.
Could we dodged a bullet, eh? Maybe that bit of luck.
Oh, big time. I think I've said it on here before, that the interview that McInnes had when he was with Aberdeen, when he said that it was Pedro's job to beat Celtic, had alarm bells ringing for me, because it was right to a certain extent, but for me, he had reneged responsibility for himself to compete with Celtic while he was Aberdeen manager, and there was just alarm bells going off in my head as soon as he said that, and I commented to a number of people about it, that he didn't feel it was his job to try and compete with Celtic. It was somebody else's issue, and that for me was not the traits of a would-be Rangers manager. So I never fancied him. I know it's easy to say in hindsight now, but I never fancied him, and I'm so glad that it all fell through, because we've got a manager I think that has got the potential to be 10 times a manager that McInnes will ever be.
And one of the reasons I've asked that, Rudy Bear, is would we have got Stephen Davis and Jermaine Defoe on loan if Derek McInnes would have been my manager?
Absolutely not. I mean, I think you, as I say, when I first came on there, you can see that with Defoe, there's the Gerrard connection right there for me. We would never have got these two players in a million years, because I don't even think he'd have thought about looking at these two players. It would never have crossed his mind. And Cushy makes a good point there, about some of the stuff that came out with, when Pedro was in charge. You only have to go back just a few short weeks ago to the cup final, when the Dartsiders beat them in the cup final. And his statement afterwards, when he said he was just happy just to get to a final, that's no the conduct of a Rangers manager. A Rangers manager, any manager, not even a Rangers manager, Ox, any manager worth his salt wouldn't have come out with something like that. He was just happy to get to a cup final. So, definitely for me, as I say, with the Defoe signing, forget that out of the line. There's the Steven Gerrard connection for me right there. And funny enough, I've got a feeling he won't be the only one that we'll see. I think we might just see another big name signing by the end of January.
Wow, Rudy, who do you think?
Hopefully. Well, I don't know. Not really sure, but I'm sure they're looking through. He's looking
Gaza.
Love that bridge, man, wouldn't we? Eh?
Oh, please. I want to get down to Ibrox and see all the youngsters with the white hair again.
I think what I'm trying to say, Bridge, is I don't think he's finished.
Some of the youngsters have got white hair. It's only because they're older.
It's been converted naturally.
Mine's come to an ash blonde, Bridge.
Oh, boy. By the way, those were crazy days. What the crazy days?
But I don't think he's finished yet. We've still got a long time to go. I'm really glad that, they've got up and running so quickly. This is obviously work that was being done in the background in the run-up to the start of January, so they've been working really hard already by the looks of things. And I still think, I was talking to my mate today, this afternoon, about it. He reckons we'll bring maybe 5 or 6 in, maybe even 7 players in, maybe even another couple.
We do that, mate. We've got to start moving players out as well, mate.
Well, you don't know yet. I mean, there's a long way to go in the window, isn't there? What's the story with Penna? Need to wait and see what happens with that. They've got to come to some kind of accommodation. I mean, you say, look, son, you're as well just to go. So, like you say...
Certainly we can't bring in 7 players with the amount of people that we've got in the squad. We would have to be offloading quite a number of these guys, I think, in order to accommodate them, because the wage bill would be astronomical, basically. Certainly I'd love to see that amount of players come in, but we also need to get a plan in place. And I'm sure we have, actually, because Alan proved it during the summer transfer window when he moved a lot of players on that I thought would never go anywhere. Hopefully he's got the same. He's hiding the same cards this time as well, because our squad is, particularly in the midfield, is really starting to get really bloated, and we do need to make sure that we've got these guys out on loan or sold or whatever, because we've got there's a lot of bodies, particularly in the midfield. Can I just touch quickly just on the Kent versus Jones type conversation that we had earlier on?
Yeah.
It would be great to. It'd be fantastic by Ryan Kent. I really like him as a player. I think he's a fantastic player. I think the issue we may have is when you look at Dominic Solanke moving for 19 million to Bournemouth, and Solanke has basically not kicked a ball for Liverpool, right? And yet he moves for 19 million, and yet we've got a guy who has played in Europe, who has played against La Liga teams and acquitted himself really well, who has now had an assist in an Old Firm derby in front of millions in Sky. I just wonder if we would even be in the ballpark if an EPL team comes in and wants somebody like Ryan Kent, because I was gobsmacked when I seen Solanke going for 19 million to Bournemouth, and it just makes me wonder if Liverpool are thinking at the end of the season, we'll take Ryan Kent back. He's our asset, and even though he may not have a place in our first team, we'll sell him for 19 million to some EPL team that maybe want him, because that's the kind of figures you're talking about down there now, and that is completely out with our price range.
Fair comment. You're coming in there, Rudy?
No, I was just going to say, as far as Kent's concerned, I don't think Kent would go for 19 million, but I get the point that you're making, though, Cushy. Certainly, some of the championships clubs would easily fork out 10 million for him. They'd pay 10 million for Ryan Kent, European experience and all that. And especially if he continues in the same vein, for the second half of the season, has a fantastic season. Because I just think Steven Gerrard's a big draw. I think the game on the 29th there, the boy was absolutely buzzing at his nut. I watched his interview and everything, and he's just loving life at Rangers. And he said himself that, he'd welcome a long-term move to Rangers. Whether we can do that, I don't know. Really, I honestly really don't know. All the point I was making was, if I had a choice, if I could make a choice between the two of them, it'd be Ryan Kent for me. That's all I was saying, really.
Anyway, we've been joined by another caller. Evening, caller. I think it's Lyle. How are we doing, Lyle?
How are we doing, everyone?
How are we doing, mate? Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everyone.
When did you stop saying Happy New Year, Bridgeman? You're the oldest. What date?
The 1st of January.
On you go, Lyle. What's on your mind, mate?
The two things. The first thing I want to say is I just want to give my appreciation to everyone in the panel who did the Westengate show on January 2nd. I thought it was an amazing show. I listened in myself, and I just want to say well done, and I really appreciate the show. It was a fantastic put together show.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much, mate. Much appreciated.
The second is obviously the transfer targets. I think we've got two good players at experience with Defoe and Davids coming in. If they are to sign, obviously it's not done deals yet. But I just wanted to hear the opinion on everyone on Gordon Jones and obviously Glenn Kamara, who are obviously the quality of players that we have played against this season. So
I'll give you my thoughts first, mate, and I'll be really honest. I'm terrible when we're watching the other teams. I concentrate just on my own team, and I don't think you see somebody till you maybe see them over a dozen games playing for you before you can really judge. That's my thoughts. But that's the director of football and the scouting team's job to get all the VT together, and then let people judge. Rudy, Bridge can stop typing.
As far as Jones goes, we discussed him before. I think it was only a couple of weeks ago or something that his name came up in the show, and I kind of thought, I've not really seen anything for him that makes me think, oh, we need him. We need that boy to come in. We should sign him, really. I've seen wee fits and starts off him that I quite like. He's got electric pace, so I'm not that fussed about Jordan Jones. I made my point about Ryan Kent and him, who I prefer. As far as Glenn Kamara goes, I really like Glenn Kamara, in all honesty. I think he's really hard-working midfielder with a fair bit of skill about him. He's big, he's strong, he likes a tackle, Kamara, and he's played so well against us whenever we've played them. So Kamara is a definite for me. We'll get him in at the end of the season on a free, great. Jordan Jones, I'm not so fussed about.
Oxter, can I come in on something now?
We'll come back to it, Bridge. We'll come back to it. Let's just finish with Lyle's question. Cushy?
Kamara, I think will be a really good signing for us. Neil McCann absolutely raves about him, and thinks, if memory serves, his last interview he had on him, he thinks he's bound for the EPL at some stage. So I think that's a really good bit of business for us. I said earlier on, I think, for Jones versus Kent, I take Kent every time. I watched Tav the last time we played Kilmarnock, and I thought he just played Jones completely off the park, and Jones looked like a little boy lost in comparison to what Tav was doing. I think actually, if memory serves, Tav scored 2 and 1 assist, or either 2 assists and 1 goal. Can't remember off the top of my head, but it was something like that.
That was in the cup tie. That was in the cup tie.
Yes. So I think I'm really pleased with the Kamara deal. I think he'll be a really good signing for us in my midfield, and I think he will complement Stephen Davis very, very well in the midfield as well. But Jones, again, Jones is I just don't see it at the moment with the Jones transfer. With Grezda and Middleton being there, and Kent still been there, and who knows, we may send Kent off another year's loan or whatever. So I just don't.
Well, Jamie Murphy at the end of the season, hopefully.
Jamie Murphy as well, So I'm kind of struggling to see the rationale behind the Jones signing. Frankly, I think he's a very decent attacking player, but I'm not sure where he fits in given our current squad.
Candice is 31, mate. 31. Could he be the man?
I think it's fair to say, Oxshare, that Jones is probably one of the most highly rated players in Scottish football at the moment. Not that I like the guy, I'm not a greatest fan of his, but he is. I can't take anything away from him. He's very highly rated. So that's what I was saying earlier. Personally, I'm not that keen, but I agree with Rudy. I would much prefer, and Cushy Number, I would much prefer to see the boy Kent staying with us. Pay a wee bit extra, but I think he's way out of our league when it comes to money, to be honest. And the way he's playing,
trouble, we've no control in that decision, mate. You know what I mean? We've no control. And if you're doing your planning, maybe he's no good enough for you, you know what I mean?
That's a good point you make, Ox. I mean, the money down south, Cushy's just pointed out, Solanke going to Bournemouth for 19 million. I mean, that's just crazy money for a guy who played any football, So if you look at even just one of the top championship clubs, you know, they could easily fork out 10 million. Could we match that? Never. We could never match that, you know. And they probably pay him maybe 2-3 times the wages that we could afford to pay him as well. You know, so the kind of a long shot. Is it a possibility that we could maybe go back to Liverpool and say, look, can we have him for another season loan? Even if we could do that, that would be a result for me as far as Ken's concerned.
Yeah, I was going to do
Anyway,
it.
lads, get yourselves on mute and Old School Blue, give us a tune.
Hello, Big Man Tyrone here. This is a very serious natured video today, guys, so please pay close attention. As you all may have seen recently, Scott Brown got kicked square in the balls by Alfredo Morelos. These absolutely hilarious events have prompted me to launch a fundraiser to get that ugly cretin a new pair of balls. For just £2 a month, you can get Scott Brown a new pair of balls, which then of course means that he will have a new pair of balls in time for the next game in March, where Alfredo will kick him square in the balls again. Team scalping, yes! Good night, green and white.
Now we know what Bridgeman does during the day.
It's brilliant. Brilliant.
Bridge, you would want to come in there just before we went to a tune, mate?
I want to come in about that issue about the referee at the
We'll come to that, mate. We'll come to that.
I'm just saying that's what I wanted to speak about.
We'll come to that. We'll start with their rant and where what they've done.
You notice it's been serious now.
But it's always going to come that way, mate.
About the police.
Well, obviously, if people are putting online, threatening your life online, you're going to have to get the police involved.
Cool, that's fine. As long as we know. We're going to talk about it in a minute anyway. Okay, cool.
Oh. I know it's your favourite subject. Have we finished with the Lyle, is that covered what you thought of the transfers, mate? Jimmy, can you go on mute for a minute, mate? JFK, that's it. Lyle?
Yeah, obviously that's all the opinion. For me, Gordon, I think if we go for Gordon Gomes, that's, I think, 4 players in that same position, whether or not we keep Kent or not at the end of the season, that would play in that left-hand side. And obviously, I don't think we need 4 players there. Obviously, let's get on see that Krejcir's not fit.
Right, fair shout, mate. Listen, we'll be joined by our couple of callers, Lyle. You can either sit there and I'll come back to you, mate, alright?
That's alright.
Alright. Evening, GFK.
Evening, guys. How are you all tonight?
How you doing, mate?
I didn't know I was on tonight. I was doing my
we hadn't planned to be. We hadn't planned to be on last night or tonight, but obviously things have moved quite quickly in the last 48 hours. GFK.
Definitely, mate. Absolutely wonderful. Wonderful things are happening, aren't they? The boy Kamara, the cracking player, he showed that when he played against us. Obviously, a very industrious and hard-working midfielder, likes to put his sail about. Pleased about him. Not so much about Jordan Jones. I think he's a work in progress. I heard you talking about Ryan Kent. I don't think Ryan Kent will come back next season, guys. I think there's the guy down the south. Klopp's got plans for him. He's contracted to 2022, as far as I know, 21. So they'll be looking for a fair amount for him, maybe between 5 and 10 million. I don't think we'll pay that, or we can afford to pay that. But we're not going to let that. It's no. Jermaine's here now, and Stephen's on his way, and we've got Jordan Jones and Glenn Kamara. Letters are going into the SFA and SFPL, whatever you want to call it, and the Archbishop or you know what. And I think I heard Big George's dulcet tones earlier on Radio Clyde. I don't know if I was right, George. Did I hear that? I didn't hear the name. It sounded like George, and you put a lot of good points here if that's what it was you, mate. I don't usually listen to Radio Snide, but it's becoming that kind of a place now to go and have a good laugh, because they're imploding, guys. We're doing things the right way, and they can't do it at all. So I'm very pleased, Ox. Yeah, the developments in the last 24 hours have been absolutely fantastic. So no complaints off of me. Even though Jordan Jones, I'm no 100% convinced, but he's going to pull the blue on, so you'll get my support the same as everybody else, mate.
Only time will tell. Cushy, there's only one thing disappointed me.
What's that, mate?
See if Ryan Jack's goal had been offside, you imagine what they'd have been like then.
That's sadistic. Don't go there.
Well, you can only dream. Yeah.
Right,
But no,
obviously, we never touched on that subject, and old Bridges, he's got the muzzle on. He's taking his muzzle off now, ready to get stuck in it. When I seen that Celtic were put in a statement, I thought, oh, how big of them! They're going to apologise to what they've done to been involved in the last nearly half a century, you know. And I thought, oh, here we go. No, they've lost a game of football and they can't take it. A club like no other.
Yeah.
Rudy Bear.
yeah, not in a good way.
It's shameful, really, isn't it? They've got the goings on since last week. I mean, you're talking about a club who's had a free run at trophies for 6 years now. They lose one game against us, and their friends in the media, their support and the club itself, as Jimmy says, they've just imploded big style. Utterly shameful. I thought that was a joke when I saw that statement earlier, and then quickly realised, no, it was an actual statement. They'd actually put that statement out, and they wonder why we sit and laugh at them. After everything that's happened to us as a club and as a support, they wonder why we laugh at them and we don't take them seriously. Like, go back to when Candace gets sent off for blowing a kiss, and Rangers said, look, we need to look at this process. This is wrong. You know, we need some transparency in this process. And basically everybody said in the media, shut up, take your medicine and get on with it. And then after one defeat and a couple of incidents that's been totally blown out of all proportion, in my opinion, they released this statement. And it's just laughable. It'd be laughable if it wasn't so serious. You know, that they can get away with this simply because of their friends in the media that help them out on a constant basis. It's pathetic, in all honesty, Ox, in my opinion.
Cushy number.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's ridiculous. I actually thought after the match that the ref had actually a decent game. I thought it was actually refed quite well for an Old Firm match, certainly better than some we'd seen similar. It was only, and I never thought anything basically of a number of the decisions that John Beaton made, because for example, for the Morelos boot on Brown between the legs, to put it politely, the ref blew the whistle and gave a free kick. Let's all move on, and everybody in the match did move on. All the players just forgot about it immediately and just moved on. It was only as a result of the Sky and Andy Walker showing replay after replay of Morelos in particular doing something, and then immediately following the match, the BBC highlighting only the Morelos issues in the match, that my ears started to prick up with regards to how this has been handled by the media. I actually thought, in terms of an Old Firm game, it's the best Old Firm game that's been refereed in a number of years, simply because he let a lot of the kind of innocuous fouls go. He let the game flow, and it wasn't stop-start. So I was a little bit surprised but it's only the media reaction with regards to this that I think has brought this to the fore. I think I watched during the game, and the players just frankly seemed to get on with it. And regarding the Celtic statement tonight, for them to say one instance where Anthony Ralston was injured is basically just a complete fabrication, because he writhed about screaming in the ground, and then as soon as he realised that nothing really was going to be given with regards to it, and the ref wasn't going to book or send off Morelos, he gets straight up and ran straight into position. So he wasn't injured. He wasn't even close to being injured. So that, for a start, is just a complete fabrication. But for them for the club itself to release that statement after the first defeat in 6 years in the league, it's just it just shows for me, it just shows that the pressure is starting to tell on them with regards to all this 10 in a row stuff. I think the fans have thought that was just coming as standard. I think they thought that nothing was going to stop that, and then suddenly there's this roadblock in the way that is Steven Gerrard and the team that he's putting together, and I think the pressure is starting to tell both on the players, because the players were garbage during that game. It's certainly telling on the fans, judging by the social media output that I've seen over the last 4 days. And with a statement today, it's starting to tell on the club boardroom itself. And for me, that is absolutely fantastic.
See, when if that was us and we get beat, we'd be shirking the players there. We wouldn't be shirking the opposition, or we'd be saying, oh, he was crap, yeah.
Well, I think we need to look at the last Old Firm game for that, and we we didn't really look at refereeing decisions in the last Old Firm game. We pointed the finger fairly at the players for not turning up in the first half. There wasn't really any kind of the refs rubbish, etc., etc. We pointed the finger fairly squarely at the players. And in fairness to our players, they done exactly the same thing. So there was a lot of kind of a lot of internal what's the word I'm looking for? We replayed it internally. We didn't do it external. We didn't actually start putting out statements that we blamed the ref for a single defeat. So I think it's certainly when we put out the column statement after his disgraceful performance and sending off Daniel Candace at the end of that Suburban match. But there's some differences in the fact that we actually won that Suburban match. We know for a fact that Colm sent Daniel Candace off for doing absolutely nothing, because the video highlights of it show you that. And all we done was highlight the fact that Colm had a really, really poor game and continues to do so with regards to us. What we didn't do is start to say that our players were injured. We didn't kind of point the finger squarely at an opposition player. So there's a number of differences, I think, that with regards to the two statements when we put out the one with Colm and the Celtic club statement today. But for me, it just shows that the whole thing about Celtic is starting to creak under the pressure, and we need to keep applying that pressure.
They're pandering to the lowest common denominator, Cushy. That's exactly what they're doing. Starting to feel the stress of the whole situation now, because they've been promising their support this 10 in a row, fabled 10 in a row, for God knows how many seasons now, and they're starting to crack under the pressure. And this is something that they haven't had to deal with in the last 6 years. Even the 2 seasons that Rangers have been back in the Premiership, Rangers, in all honesty, let's face it, we're nowhere. Now we've got a manager who's putting a team together. We're bringing in some players that look like they could do the business for us. The performance against was a psychological barrier that was crossed when we played them off the park at the weekend. And it's just, as Jimmy says, they've imploded. They haven't had to deal with this kind of pressure. And they're dealing with it by pandering to the lowest common denominator, my opinion. That's exactly what they're doing.
Well said. But, Bridgeman, I know you've been anxious to get in. Bridge?
Yeah, can I just say that I agree with Rudy? And I've said this before. Hopefully I don't bore you. The last time we ran into that team, and we put them at the cup, they changed their manager. They changed their philosophy. They brought in the tranny man, and now we've beat them again, and they're completely imploding. Everything about that game is completely under a microscope now, and they have started it all, and they just don't know how to end it. As the guys said a wee bit earlier, we played the game, everybody got on with it. There was nobody killed, there was nobody battered, and nobody kicked off the park, as far as that's concerned. But they've twice in a row now, for 2 games, they've highlighted 2 managers in our league, or 2 clubs in our league, have highlighted our star man. And I don't know, in fact 3, Aberdeen did it with him, Hearts have done it with him, and now Celtic have done it. And Rangers need to go to war. Rangers need to go to war with the SPFL, they need to go to war with the SFA, and they need to go to war with number 1, the BBC. Because if you want to know who puts everything forward to go to the, what do you call them, the compliance officers. It's the BBC. They make the package up. They make the highlights up. And when you look at their highlights, as Cushy said earlier on, not one single foul against Rangers was shown. Not one single foul the whole night. And we know there was 3 or 4 really poor fouls, particularly by Scott Brown. Could have been booked.
Arguably, JFK, the most contentious decision in the whole match was whether because a penalty wasn't against Callum McGregor when Candice hit his shot.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I said the other night there that the only one I thought that Fred should have possibly he could have, was the thing on Christie. But to me, it was a nothing. But that was the only thing. But what you're saying of the Candice, look, Bridge is 100% right. I reluctantly watched the BBC in a Sunday with the Hoddit and Doddit. They blatantly misrepresent the game when Rangers are playing. They show the good for the other team, the bad for us, and then they come on and hang me. But what concerns me is that they've been granted a meeting with the SPAFL, the SFA, and the referees committee. Now, I hope this is that they've been granted a meeting. I'm hoping that Rangers and other clubs for the SPAFL are allowed to sit at this table, because we can't let this continue. Because there's a boy on for Belfast earlier on in Radio Snide, and he hit it for me in one. The first time that we beat them in all these years, and all of a sudden they're imploding. And the boy says, for a club like that to eat themselves from the inside out, it's horrible, because it's an evil entity. And they are an evil entity, and we know what's going on there and what has gone on in the past. But we must be at this table for this meeting next year. We must make sure that this isn't a meeting solely representatives from the puddle drinkers. Our complaint against Colum was against Colum. It wasn't against any other club. It wasn't against any other player. Even Anton Rogan wasn't mentioned. Anton Ferdinand wasn't mentioned. It was just that things were said. And what did they do? They get beat, and they decide that they're going to have to sign the letter and use your name. Absolutely disgusting. It's horrible. They're just a dirty, disgusting organisation who have imploded. And as a guy said earlier on, and I don't want to keep quoting Radio Snide, because I've not listened to it for a long time, but a guy came on there tonight and he says, why not be taking defeat as indignity is hard to take for some people. But it's even harder for some people like them to win in dignity, and that's what they do. They don't win with any dignity, they don't lose with any dignity, because they think that they know better. Some of the tackles, Scott Brown left his leg in, Christie put his leg in against Fred before he gave him a wee pat in the ham hose. So for me, it's a great result for Rangers, and the fact is that Fred no longer needs to worry about getting any suspensions. Snide again tonight saying he should have been a 6-match suspension, and so did that other reprobate for BT Sports. Guys, we watch BBC because we're curious. I'm going to stop watching it because I'm going to end up throwing something through my TV, and it's too good a TV to waste on the animals.
Well, will you get any thoughts on it, mate?
I think he's gone, Hawks.
All right. Just checking. I just think you mentioned the commentator on BT who does BBC stuff as well on the radio and that. It's just like going back to 2003 all over again, mate, for me. One game of football, it's no went their way and it's everybody else's fault. It's unbelievable.
Of course it is, and that's what's happening. And the papers are all pandering to that. And what Bridge says there, we need to fight back, and we are fighting back. We're fighting back on the field, and they don't like it. There was a couple of worried, if you might call them so-called puddle drinkers on, saying that they wish they'd signed Jermaine Defoe. And we've got him, So we're going to keep him for 18 months and maybe a wee bit beyond that. We don't know. They don't have him. They're buying nobody, and I don't want to use the reason I think why they're not buying anybody, because this is a family show. But I think we all know deep down why they're not spending money, and we're not going to that until future date, and that'll probably not happen for another 6 or 7 months. But they're imploding now, and I've got Brenda in charge. And what Bridges said there is correct. No, the last time this happened, they sacked him, whatever they want to call it. But his coaching a sugar and nail now. I don't think they'll be good the money to spend. We didn't need to spend a lot of money because we've got a couple of cracking players, 4 cracking players coming.
Jimmy, see as far as that game at the weekend goes, do you not think instead of
across you, Rudy, with the caller coming in? Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Oh, go.
Evening, caller.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Oh, it's a global ambassador. Evening, Al. Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year, Al.
Happy New Year. All the best to all yous. Hi, Rudy. How you doing?
Aye, good.
Yeah,
and listen, thanks for sending me that fridge magnet, mate. That was one of the best I've had yet. That was a cracker.
You want a fridge magnet?
That was good enough, the one you sent me, mate. Thanks a lot for that.
What's that?
You know what it is. Thanks very much, mate. Anyway, what's your point, caller?
Oh, it's brilliant, caller, isn't it? That's absolutely brilliant. Brilliant result. We've got a foot in their throat. Don't take it off, twist it and snap it. Because if we get the flow coming
in, medical, hopefully just formalities, mate. Hopefully everything goes in the next 24 hours, mate.
I think we've got enough in the team, I think, to win the league without him, with the way things are happening. Morelos stays, we've got enough goals in him to win the league. Even the name Defoe, you see how much controversy it's caused. I can't wait to see what they try to pull in at the other side of the city. But if he does come into the team, he'll definitely score some goals for us as well. So that all bodes well for the future. And just the simple fact they've imploded, brilliant. They mention all the other games that we were beating off them, and rightly so, because we were pish. But some of the challenges in the games, so they are hard men.
Yeah.
Never mentioned. Now you've got them come. I'm just no longer at my scratcher, guys. And I've heard a wee look at the papers. And I'm like, this is brilliant statements coming out. No dignity, no class, no nothing. You know, things like that you want to just leave alone. What do you gain out of it? It embarrasses you. It just makes you look like a fool. It makes them look like they are. Jimmy, I love the phrase that Jimmy says, puddle drinkers, man. Oh, so they are. They're bottom feeders. But bottom feeders, a lot of them, like, absolutely brilliant. So, I'm happy today, man. I'm going to go and get roasted like a lobster. And I'm going to have a smile on my face all day, gentlemen. But I'm looking forward to after the break now. Hopefully, that result has gave us a good bit of impetus. See, 2 points for that game. See the first tackle by Andy Halliday. That set the standard for the rest of the game. Unfortunately, we didn't score enough goals to embarrass them, which I would have liked. But after the game, I was relieved. I was happy. I wasn't ecstatic because I was wanting more goals at them, but the team was unbelievable. And I don't know if any of you noticed it, just at the very last moment before Gerrard walked up that tunnel, did you see him just, he gave that thing again, and
fist pump
towards the crowd.
Aye, yeah.
Aye, just as he walked in the tunnel, man, that tells me a lot, because that you see, or I think you see, is in the team. I thought McCrory played well. I thought Jack played well. Andy Halliday was phenomenal. Like Arfield could only get better, surely, because he's came back here, had a wee bit of a niggly injury. So I think everyone's looking rose in the garden, and their garden's dead, man. They need to get some horse shit in it. Get their flowers up, like, you know what I mean. I'm so happy, guys. I'm so happy.
Sometimes in life, Al, you get what you deserve, but sometimes it takes a long time for that to come around, yeah?
Oh, correct. correct. Yeah, definitely. Like, look, we all know what they're, and they've been living in a fantasy land, and granted, the more times you look and read things, and that, there's people there with their leadings in prominent positions and different things like that. But make no mistake about it, they are puddle drinkers, man. They're bottom feeders. And if we quietly keep going about, do what we need to do, the board are backing Mr. Gerrard. I mean, it's a quality signing. I know he's 36, but still, it's a name. Is he Beckham's sister's man?
Can I tell you, mate? I don't know enough, but I'll check that out.
Or maybe he used to throw her one. But anyway, it's a name, you know what I mean? It's another... No, I'm positive he did, like, aye.
I wouldn't even throw her one at all.
Global ambassador, what language?
With your man Keely on. Right, but...
Hey, did you fit me now, Al? Because I've lost a bit of weight now. It's a wee bit big for me now.
Is it? Aye, it's a bit saggy.
I'll send it back to you.
Right. No, I'm a bit saggy now too. I'm after that 40 mark. Anyway, it's a name, you know what I mean? There's guys who are talking about it on the radio. I was like Talk Sport. I was listening to that before I went to my bed last night. You've got guys talking about it. It's in the papers. He'll score goals. There's no doubt he'll score goals. Whether he scores 10, 15 or 20 goals, he'll score goals for us, and that's all going to help us win the league. And they don't like that. They're not going to sign people, have they? We played a young boy up front. Where was our £9 million striker?
A young boy for PSG. That's what I've got. George Weah's boy, that's it.
Oh, he's murder.
That's what I'm saying. They don't seem to have anybody else. So bring it on. Let's go. Bring it on.
We'll be joined by that caller. Oh, by the way, we'll be joined by Boswell the Bear. Happy New Year, Boswell. It was great to hear from you, mate. How are you?
Happy New Year.
Hi, Boswell.
Hi, Boswell.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. He's on mute.
He's on mute. Dana Bridgman.
Oh, he's off mute. Oh, he's back on.
He's back on again.
Happy New Year, Avenger.
It's Morse code. It's Morse code, Boswell.
Earth calling Morrison. Earth calling Morrison.
I thought you were on that Chinese flight there, up to the moon there, boys. How you doing, mate? How's things? I hope everything's all right. Planet boys.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Isn't this wonderful? There's been a Tim implosion, and it seems to have fallout everywhere in the world. I just think it's... What can you say? You just laugh at it and think, yeah, they are a club like no other, quite frankly. A club like no other. Thank God there's only one of them. But just what the boys were saying there, you know, I find it utterly bemusing that they say they don't have a problem with having been beaten. But I think that's exactly what the problem is. They have a problem very much with being beaten. And, you know, they've been unchallenged for the last 7 years, and now they can feel that there's some kind of seismology moving about in Scottish football, and they can see that it may not advantage them, and they just don't like it. Well, so far as I understand, the Scottish Football Association is populated by their people. So maybe they need to have an internal memo that goes round everybody of their people saying exactly what the problem is, because I don't think we've got anybody in a position of power there. So how it can be any kind of Masonic conspiracy is beyond my understanding.
Well said Boswell. Well said, pal.
Isn't that the normal thing? It's you Masons and you Huns, and you think, well, actually...
Well, if it is some kind of conspiracy, we've not been very good in the last 6 years.
Yeah, we've been absolute rubbish at it. Absolute rubbish,
You know, I think Boswell you hit it. I think Boswell hit it.
Can I ask Boswell a question?
I think you hit the nail right in the head there, Boswell. They're getting beaten, and Dave King made a statement 6 months ago, that all they need is one defeat and they won't get into the Champions League. They ain't in the Champions League this season. And if Rangers win the league, which is looking a bit better than it was a couple of months ago, but my goodness gracious, if they get challenged for the league this year, my goodness, if they don't win it, that's 2 seasons without Champions League money.
Bridget, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when it happens. It will happen, and they know it will happen, and that's what terrifies them.
Yep.
The fact that they know it's going to happen, and it's one of these things where you don't want to get if you feel there's a problem outside, you don't want to go outside unless 3 of your mates are with you with baseball bats.
Oh, I've never been in that position, but I'll take your
I'm
word for it,
sure you have.
Big Al,
You're a roughhead, Boswell. You're a roughhead.
Big Al, you wanted to ask Boswell something on you, go with.
I was just going to ask him, does he have a Mankini? Because Jimmy's selling one, if you know.
I'm not selling it, but I'll give him it for nothing. But I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll swap him it if he sends me a fridge magnet.
Right.
A fridge magnet of a Mankini.
Well, I don't know. You better. Well, I was going to pass it on to Oxgear Boswell, but I don't know.
Well,
I
think Oxgear's need is greater than mine.
Well, okay, we'll pass it to him then.
For a Mankini or a French magnet, boss?
Oh, you can have both of them.
Both, absolutely both.
How big is your fridge?
I thought he was going to ask how
Why
big
don't you even
is
go
his
there?
magnet?
Hey,
That was a euphemism for how
I'm
big's your
GMK, no Big Al. That'll tell you something.
Put it this way, it's quite a big fridge. It's one of Rudy's old ones.
And it'll no doubt be full.
No, I emptied it first, mate.
But it's great, isn't it?
Can I just say something? See what you were saying there. I mean, the signings haven't been great, right? They keep going on about all this money in the bank, 200 million, or they've got 20 million a season. So I'll just say 140 million for 7 seasons in the Champions League, right? Where is this 140 million? Because when they implode, the first thing all the puddle drinking fans, the bottom feeders, are going to say to the board is, where's all the cash? You should be able to go out now and buy 10, 20 million pound strikers, 20 million pound midfielder, yeah? Because that board must know that their questions are going to be asked.
As I said earlier on, there's an underlying reason there, obviously, that we've got to watch what we're saying and that, and different things. And that,
can I say they've been building the money up for the legal case to pay out all these people?
Well, it's a legal case. I suppose we'll call it that. But again, we need to
compensation.
See what kind of legal case it is. Oh, you're 100% right there, mate. And that's what I think is happening. You know, that I've seen that many reports all our different forums, and it's been hidden here in Scotland. So we can go on and on. But let's talk about football. They're imploding, and they don't know what to do. But you're 100% right. So is Boswell. They don't know what to do now. That they're frightened. So they didn't expect us to be where we are. And let's be quite honest, a lot of us didn't either. Right, and I'm being honest about that. But they didn't expect what's happening. Well, I'm not going to say right here now that we're going to win the league this season, but we've got a good chance now. And that would be brilliant. For one reason only. It's to stop them doing, never mind 10, stop them doing 8. But then we to see how they would implode completely. And they'd go down. And I would hope that if there's any vote if they get into liquidation in the future, I would hope that Stuart Robertson's horn is the first horn up. Get rid of him, the same as he did to us.
Oh no, Jimmy! I think it needs to be said is that they did not want that. What they wanted was us to be completely disabled, so that they could put us up against the ropes and batter the crap out of us for as long as it suited them. That's exactly what they didn't want rid of us, because no matter what they say, and they did say the very words, "We are a standalone entity." Well, they're not a standalone entity. They quite clearly proved that. But what they wanted was us to be so disabled that we would have no power or wherewithal to fight back.
That's what I'm saying. I would like us, if the show of hands, is put them back down, put them in the
Well,
top division the same as us.
We're not at that stage yet, but let's just.
No. But that's the way.
There's
I'm.
10 people in the call, Mr. JFK. So Bridgeman was wanting to come in there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, following for one of the boys who was saying there, I can't remember who it was, about where's the money. They're talking about where's the money if anything happens to them in the next season or so. Somebody's going to ask where's the money. Well, they asked that question in the early 60s about Celtic. Where's the money? And the directors were running about. And fortunately, they got Jock Stein coming in, and he managed to rebuild them, shall we say, financially. And then when it all fell apart on them, and the wee Canadian boy, him with the bonnet, I can't remember his name now. When he came in, he asked the same question: where is the cash? Ain't no cash. It had been sidelined. And when the directors of Celtic, when he put the money in to rebuild Celtic, and they asked for a share. Where's our share? And that's when his famous statement came out: not one thin dime. No one director in this company will get one thin dime. Beat it. And he managed to rebuild them. And the question's going to come back now, Boswell. I think it was Boswell that said it. It's going to happen sooner or later in the next couple of years. Somebody's going to ask, where is all this money?
Well, going back to this implosion, George, you're a fair guy. Our support, we've only won one game of football. We're only joint top of the league. It's only a journey we're on. It's only 3 points. It's no. But the response has been OTT for that club.
Of course it is, Ox. Of course it is. Boswell's bang on what he's saying there, by the way. It's been at 12 games, whatever it was, we hadn't beaten them. We enjoyed our day. We played them off the park. It was only 3 points, Ox. But see what Boswell was saying there, that's what I was trying to... it's not just about the 3 points. We had the guy that stood up to Scott Brown. We've not the guy that stood up to Scott Brown in 12 games. We had the guy that stood up to Scott Brown. Our fans were magnificent from start to finish. They came out to a wall of noise and didn't care what they were doing. Their goalkeeper's running up and down a park. There's supposed to be in a minute's silence. He's running up and down a park and didn't care what he's doing because his mind was all over the place. At the end of the game, they're trying to get their fans. Their fans are not wanting nothing to do with them. It was just about the 3 points for me, Ox. But see everything that came away for that day. I mean, there's you're talking about journalists. The journalists are all flapping as well because they didn't know. They've got all their eggs in the one basket. There's Keith Jackson said the other day there, Jermaine Defoe would be a great signing for Celtic, and he's came to the Rangers. That's him. He shot himself in the foot. Hugh Keevins was on the Snide last week saying the Rangers fans will walk away if they sell Alfredo Morelos. And what I tell him is Barry Ferguson's left, De Boer's left. All these guys have left in the past, and I've still got my season ticket. They just want to say things. It's coming in. It's coming in the Mox, and that's a big thing. It's coming in on every single one of them. They've got all their eggs in that basket. They're going there, sitting hospitality with all these Celtic guys, and they're loving it, and they're thinking they'll not be able to come back to Ibrox now because they've kicked us and kicked us and kicked us. And see that game, it was just 3 points, Hawks. It was just 3 points. But see, for the Rangers directors, the Rangers fans, and the Rangers team, and the captain of the Rangers, it meant a hell of a lot more than 3 points. Because we put a lot of people, we shut a lot of people up that day.
One careful back, George.
Yeah.
Can I just quickly interrupt? Can I just quickly interrupt because I'm working, so I'm just disappearing again. But I'm going to be re-listening to the show, and I'll speak to you all later.
All right, little boy, you have a good shift.
Thank you very much. Good show, by the way.
See you later. She's only left because
is that Fox's girlfriend? Aye, I was going to
It's not official yet. It's not official.
It's not official. Is she a lot older than Fox? She sounds it.
No. Complete opposite.
Is she?
Ox,
on yourself, Fox.
Get
that Mankini on.
Can I just say it's nice to hear Boswell Bear's dulcet tones. It's been a while. Welcome back, Boswell.
Thank you, sir.
He's got one of the finest voices for radio as our boss.
Certainly has.
Yes.
Thank you. You're too kind, all of you. I think, Brendan will leave in the summer. He's been working his ticket for the last season, and this is why they will not give him a brass penny this January. And I think they're just waiting for Stevie Clark to come in for Kilmarnock in the summer.
Oh, that's interesting, Boswell. That might be.
It's almost a stick on, isn't it? Really, you just think Stevie Clark's tainted. He's one of them.
Aye,
and it's a kind of he's actually done quite well with Kilmarnock under the circumstances.
The last challenger year, boys, he won more points than Rangers.
Yes, indeed, yeah. But I think what we also need to remember is when the last big job he had down south was West Brom.
No, I was just going to say that.
But I think he won, was it 3 games in a calendar year at West Brom?
Aye.
So,
See that one as well, but boys, see, to be honest, I can see what you're saying, but he's going to go to them now and say, look, we've just been beat 1-0 after Rangers. I need more money. I need a centre half because their centre half's terrible. Everybody slags Big Worrell. My honest opinion, I've been trying to back the big guy because we need to remember what age he is, and I've done it on here, tried to back him and things like that. They've got a guy that played at the World Cup, and they're talking about going to Fulham for 12 million in the summer, and we've got a guy on loan for Nottingham Forest. So he's going to go back to their board and say, I need money, I need a centre half, I need another striker, I need this, I need that. And that board's going to look and say, wait a minute, we just give you £9 million for a striker, we give you £4 million for a midfielder, and we give you this, we give you that. And you can't run other teams of Scottish football. They're going to have a wee look at themselves as well, boys. I don't know if it's maybe Hammett's got to walk away, if it's Davis got to say.
But don't forget though that this is the last season his gardening leave. He's still being paid half his money for Liverpool. Did you know that? Aye.
Yes.
Right. So this is the last season yet. So he's not going to be getting that money at start the next season for the puddle drinkers. I mean, he's been subsidised by Liverpool. They've been paying him that 3 years' wages, half his wages basically, that he's getting it for the puddle drinkers. So, but Stevie Clarke for me is one that's going to be taking there a dirty club with a lot of money to be able to spend in players, and let him have that, because that's what he is. He's a skank the same as the rest of them, and he's with Kilmarnock. But there's a few decent kind of jobs down south that Stevie Clarke could have went for. I think that he's been promised the Celtic job, and that's where he's going next season, and Brenda will no longer be there. So they're imploding.
I think there's a lot of jobs coming up down south. And I think that's Brenda wants to rehabilitate himself, and I think that's, he sees himself as having left Celtic in reasonable shape. They still can compete with us. Let's not kid ourselves here. They've got the players that are far better than our players at the moment. No matter whether we want to be sentimentalist or not, that's an absolute fact. They've got all the chances to win this league.
Who are they better players, Boswell?
You haven't asked me that, are you?
Yeah. Is their goalkeeper better than our goalkeeper? No.
No, I don't think
right
so.
Back. No, just but please, it's quite a broad statement you made. I don't think they've got such a better squad.
Well, I think they have because this is a bit of opinions, Alan. I tend to.
Let's just say they've got a more successful squad.
They have. They're more used to winning. They're more used to winning than ours.
They've got a more knitted squad. They're together more than we have. They're a squad that's been together for 2.5 seasons. So they're together. They're not. I'm going to agree with Al there.
They're not that together, by the way, boys. They're not that.
No, together. What I'm saying is, Al, the last 7. They won the last 7 trophies. As we all keep bumping their gums around. But they're together as a team, and we showed there on Saturday that we're together as a team, and that hopefully continues. But I'm with you, Al. I'll be quick. I can't see any of them puddle drinkers getting into the team that we've got now. I don't see any of them as good as any of what we've got. And we could go to one.
So we're a better team.
I would say so.
We're a better team. Yes, I'd say we are a better team. And I'm not saying that as a sentimental thing. I'm just.
No, I mean either.
Logically.
No.
I think if we'd have had this show this time last week, we wouldn't have been saying that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but you look at the players.
Jim.
Look at the players. Just
one at a time, lads. One at a time.
Sorry.
10 in the
Go ahead.
Rudy Bear, then we'll go back to Big Al.
As far as the game last week, we broke through a psychological barrier, and that's what this Rangers team had today, because there's been a lot of scar tissue at our club considering what they've done to us in the last couple of seasons, especially the last couple of seasons, out with the Scottish Cup semi-final when we put them out in penalties. Since then, some of the performances that we've seen under Caixinha especially against them was horrendous to watch. It was absolute dross we had to watch, and it was a complete thumping. So what Saturday last weekend was to me, that last game was,
it was breaking through a psychological barrier. The players that played that day absolutely stepped up to the plate for me. Every single one of them, even as George says, even guys like young Worrell, who's up on loan for us just now from Nottingham Forest, even him, and I've been a big critic of him, as some of the other guys on the show have been, even he stepped up at the weekend there. So what it allows now is for the players to fill that jersey now. They've got to have confidence in themselves now, because they played what the media in this country is considered to be the best Celtic team that you could ever see, and they absolutely played them off the park. The Timplosion that you're watching now is all about excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse what happened. And if I was a Celtic fan, I'd be sitting worried, because I'd be looking at that Celtic team that we played off the park at the weekend, and I wouldn't be caring about all the other stuff, about, Alfredo and referees and all the not usual nonsense that they come out with. I'd be looking at the players and saying, what happened to you lot at the weekend? How come you couldn't get up for that game and you were so badly beaten? Because it was a 1-0 thumping, absolute thumping it was for the whole 90 minutes, more or less. Say 80 minutes of the game after the first 10 minutes. So we broke through the psychological barrier. We now have players who should be able to fill that jersey out properly, and they've got to play like that more often. The way they played at the weekend, you're never going to do that every single game, because football is football, and we all know how football goes. But for that Rangers team to be considered better than that Celtic team, they've got to take confidence for that game, and they've got to fill the jersey properly now from now on.
We've been joined by young Lyle again. Lyle, how we doing, mate?
Hello, everyone.
All right.
Hello, Lyle.
Have you got a question about Celtic? Bridgeman's here.
Going on, just listening to the show, that a lot of the ones saying that the Rangers squad's better than Celtic. I think with the signing we're going to make and the passion in the squad compared to what Celtic have, Celtic are bringing in players that only want titles and then to move on. I think with Rangers, I think we want players that want to play for the bags. So,
can I come in on that, Oxy?
On you go, mate. On you go.
I was just going to say, that following for the discussions, I've said it the other night, and I won't tire in saying it. The worst result in Celtic's history is when we beat them in the Scottish Cup semi-final. We were a championship team and put them out the cup. And their second worst just happened to them the other day there. And I'm not being funny. The second worst, they'll never go over that. Psychologically, they'll need a miracle to go over that. And we need to be, as the boy said, we've got our foot in their throat. Don't take it off. We need to press and press and press on them every single way, because they'll struggle. You will never see that team that played against us the other day. You won't see that team, Celtic team, ever playing again for them. Never. They'll never play for them again.
Well, Big Boyota could be off, couldn't he? But our important game is we've got to win at Rugby Park now. That becomes a big game for us.
Agreed, pal. Next game's the biggest game of our season.
Cowden Beef. I'm assuming we're going to beat them, but then we've got away to Rugby Park, and that's it, mate. That's it. It's all comes down to that game.
Ox,
yes, boss.
Can I just remind the people about this? Is that it wasn't a couple of weeks ago that we went up to Dens Park and weren't even rubbish. But everybody's telling me that Celtic are a better team. I would love to say that Rangers are a better team than Celtic. Nothing would give me greater pleasure, but I want to be honest about this. And if we continue to think that we can go up to Dundee, not turn up, but then turn up against Celtic and we win the league like that, I don't think that's possible. The same one would be against Livingston when we played them at their Tony Macaroni Arena, or whatever it's called. We never turned up in these games. And I think that it's not a problem about Celtic. This is a problem about us. The same happened last year. We beat Aberdeen, we beat Hibs, and then we never turned up against Hamilton and Dundee. And everybody was having a go at me saying, "Oh, this is terrible. You're a naysayer." Look, that's not me. That's the club. Rangers did not turn up at these games, and that concerns me more than the fact that we turn up against our biggest rivals. I think that's fantastic. If we can turn up against Celtic and give them a doing, nothing gives me greater pleasure. But we need to do the wee jobs.
Here, boss.
It's all about consistency, boys. That's what it is. You're 100% bang on.
Yeah, we should be battering teams that going up to Dundee and winning 3-4-0 and going to Hamilton and doing the same.
I'm one for slagging these teams. See your Herts and your Aberdeens and all these guys. I slag them off because I would hate to be
4 games
a
a season, George.
Team.
4 games a season, mate.
Exactly. They go and they'll beat Rangers and they'll beat Celtic, a good result against Celtic, and then they'll take a 3-1 or a 4-1 against the Hamilton or Dundee. I don't want to be that team. I want a consistent Rangers team. I want our hungry young team, hungry young manager, new to kick on and rip Kilmarnock to a new one, because that's the kind of standard I expect of Rangers and the team after that as well. It's all right beating Celtic and beating Hearts and beating Hibs. We need to start beating everybody. And like Bridgman's famous for saying, see if it's a 1-0 or a 2-0, we need to start beating everybody.
Anyway, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening. Can I thank you all? Too many to mention tonight, but a special shout out to young Lyle and Boswell for coming back on the panel this evening. Great to hear these both. Last word of the evening, Bridgman.
Oh, what a night. Marvellous night. Thanks very much for putting it on, Oxshire. I think all the Bears are really appreciative of it. And to yourself and Terry, well done. Really great. And obviously, welcome back, Boswell. Welcome back, big style. So can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here, on Rangers Radio, every single one of us, keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers need us. Keep it going.
Well, this has been Rangers Radio. We were meant to be on a break a week Monday, but obviously sometimes events take their course. If anything else breaks, I'm sure we'll be back on there soon. Thanks for listening. Never forgive and never forget. Take it away, old school boy.
There's a pub in Green Street where all good proddies you will meet. So come down here and together we'll have a jar. A welcome there you will receive, so good that you won't want to leave. A fine wee pub is Saltcoats Mermaid Bar. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy, as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. We all support the Queen and Crown. The prices here are the best in town, and the bar staff, they are one terrific crew. Everyone laughing, full of cheer. It's one tremendous atmosphere, singing to support the red, white and blue. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy, as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. It's nice to come to the Mermaid Bar when Rangers are playing at Ibrox Park. You'll forget your worries and all your cares, singing songs against the tunes before you watch the Rangers win. For everyone here supports the Teddy Bears. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy, as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. If you are up from Belfast town, Tyrone, Fermanagh or County Down, Armagh, Antrim or London, Derry shores, the Mermaid is the place for you, so come and have a drink or two. Next time in Saltcoats you'll want to come back for more. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy, as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all.
The